I'm going to try to record this for you again. I'm Pearl from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned in Pearl, and we're here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine energy inside of self, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment. And if we want to see change, we do need to shift and change the energy within, and hopefully my readings can help you do just that. So, today is the Friday love reading. We're looking at what the masculine and feminine energy are thinking, feeling, saying, doing towards one another, how to create harmony between their thoughts, feelings, words, and actions, and the happiness potential between them. We also have a couple of oracle cards where they will be able to speak directly to one another. We have some advice for each of them, and then we have some general advice about love and relationships for the week in the last two oracle cards that I will present to you today. When it's difficult for me to record a reading and I keep persisting anyway, that means it's probably a significant message. It's requiring some adjustments. I had some technical difficulties. I was stumbling over my words, and I don't know, there's just like a lot of different things that were contributing to me having to struggle with this message. So a lot of times what the message that I take from that is that I need to pivot the way I'm interpreting something. Like I'm not quite seeing something. I might be putting too much of my own saltiness into it. There's also noise from outside. We normally don't have noise like that. I have no idea what it is, and it's annoying, so I apologize for that. But if you're here and you're sticking with me, you're definitely meant to hear this message. If you are interested, I did put out a message yesterday about feeling stuck and what to do about that. So if that's something that you've been struggling with, you might want to go check out that message from yesterday. All right, let's get started. So divine masculine overall energy for this week. The first time I pulled this card and tried to read it, the thing that I was drawn to the most is that it seemed like it was about the masculine really focusing on something internally, staying safe by keeping something in his imagination. And I stand by that interpretation. So the energy of this week with this 10 of Cups overall is that this divine masculine has a very clear image in his mind of what would make him very happy. These candles represent each member of the Stark family, and it's an image, this is from the Game of Thrones tarot, it's an image that's supposed to be taking place in the cozy bedchamber of Ned and Catelyn Stark, where really the whole series begins in Winterfell. And there's this safety that they have in their last evening together before Ned leaves for the south, and everything drastically changes, and it does not go very well for either one of them. So there's this moment of peace, this moment of feeling like, you know, they're united, they're together, they're with one another, and there are these lights burning brightly that represent the legacy of their family. So I do think that the divine masculine this week has an overall picture of the fulfillment that he will have in coming into union and actually having creating this family with the divine feminine energy. But it's very much in his imagination, because it's not the 10 of Pentacles, so it's not actually happening. But he is very certain of what would happen if he were able to make good on his offer of coming forward to the divine feminine and forming that family. The divine feminine energy is in this King of Swords or King of Arrows. This is from the Lover's Path tarot. So the divine feminine is feeling this detachment from the masculine energy. There's frustration that I'm picking up on, because there's a sense that this King of Swords knows exactly what to do. The King of Swords already has a strategy or a plan laid out by the Queen of Swords. It's his job to actually implement that plan. But we see divine feminine perceiving, intuitively feeling that this masculine is sitting there with his head in the clouds. Now, that's actually what he's doing. He has sitting there with his head in the clouds. He's remaining safe by just imagining the wonderful life they could have together instead of actually taking the actions to have that life together. And that's something that the feminine feels very strongly this week. Now, before you run off and get frustrated at your person who's leaning into their masculine energy, the way that my readings will help you is not necessarily just to give you information about somebody that has difficulty communicating with you, but to actually be able to sift through your own behaviors. Where in your life are you just imagining things changing, but not taking any actions to create that change? That is a question that you want to ask yourself. The moment that you shift and start to take action from a plan that you might have already laid out, you will begin to experience the 10 of Cups in the physical. But it requires that you get your head out of the clouds and actually follow some of the plans that you might have laid out for yourself, but actually failed to take the steps towards, for whatever reasons that might be. And you might have similar reasons about why that's not happening as this masculine energy right now has, because what's underlying his keeping this connection between you in this imagination space rather than actually doing anything is this fear of rejection. This is the Four of Cups, again from the Game of Thrones tarot. This is Littlefinger and Sansa. And this is a point where Sansa is not going to accept Littlefinger's offer because Littlefinger has caused her pain and given her reasons not to trust him. She's literally watched him murder someone in front of her and then lie about it. So it is unlikely that Sansa is actually going to accept this offer from Littlefinger that they rule the Seven Kingdoms together. She knows that that's not in her best interest and that it's really more about what he desires, and that she has more of a claim to be able to inspire the North to follow her, and that Littlefinger needs her to do that. So this relationship is tainted, and the masculine energy is feeling that he has failed this feminine on so many occasions, that he has failed to provide safety, that he has failed to consider her needs, that he has mainly interacted with her for these selfish motives. And having knowledge of that, he fears that this feminine energy will not be able to forgive him, and in fact might actually cut him off completely, because that is in fact what happens to Littlefinger. So the masculine energy is keeping this in the space of dreams and dreaming because he fears rejection. The irony being that the reason why the feminine energy would reject the masculine is because he has not made good on that picture of happiness over and over and over again because of his fear of being rejected. And it is the bringing this picture of happiness to the feminine and then failing to actually deliver it in the physical that causes her to have issues with trust. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy here between the two of them. Okay, I got cookie butter flavored, non-dairy, I think it's Califia, that brand. Their almond creamer, OMG, it's so good. Okay, King of Coins is what's underlying the feminine's energy for this week, and this gives a sense that there is a specific person that you are thinking about. There is a specific person that you have feelings for, because the King of Pentacles is somebody physical in the material. So that's just a general thing. But this specific person that you're thinking of, the way that you feel, or that this feminine energy feels, is that this person cares a lot about what other people think, cares about their reputation, cares about money, cares about prosperity and abundance, at the expense of actually taking the action that would bring this connection into its fulfillment. So the feminine energy is a skeptic this week. She is really feeling that her experience of that masculine energy has been one where, because he cares about what people think, because he cares about the perception of himself, he is basically continuing to stay with his head in the clouds rather than take action in the physical. She does desire that he takes action. That's really what she wants him to do, but she feels he won't. Now, if you follow me, it's 111 when I'm saying this, and you know about my style of reading, you understand that what you think and what you feel is what is causing your 3D to look the way you think and feel. So you would definitely need to shift the energy this week, and hopefully we'll be able to shift it for you. But that's the overall energy. Now, what is the divine masculine thinking about the feminine? This is the 5 of Cups. So now we have the 4 and the 5 of Cups and the 10 of Cups. So we definitely have a person who is intellectualizing their feelings. Rather than feeling their feelings, they're spending a lot of time thinking about their feelings. We can even see that because in the heart space, rather than the King of Cups, which would be somebody that was emotionally masterful, we're seeing the King of Swords, which is like having feelings that you are thinking about instead of feeling the feelings. So the masculine energy thinks that he has regret. He's thinking about the regret he has for causing the feminine energy pain and sadness. And he feels, or thinks rather, that the feminine energy is focused on the spilled cups and unaware of the potential for them to have happiness here with the 2 of Cups behind her. So he's like, I've done it. I've rejected her offers. I have not offered her anything. I've missed opportunities with her. And despite the fact that I know we couldn't be incredibly happy, I think she feels too sad to be able to move things forward with me. The irony being that when the divine feminine thinks of the masculine, what she's thinking about is the reunion, the celebration, the solid, stable foundation she would like to have with this masculine energy. This 4 of Wands, 4 of Staves here in the Lover's Path Tarot represents the reflective energy in a connection. The 11-11, the reflecting back to one another. And this divine feminine really feels that they could have this coming together and reuniting. And so she's thinking about that. She's thinking about how she wants to have that stable, loving relationship with masculine energy. And probably in particular, the one that is lingering there underlying her energy. It's hard to pick up these cards with my nails. So what is divine masculine feeling about the divine feminine? We have the Temperance card here. This is a card of healing, a card of alchemizing or alchemy, a card of peace. It can be seen as being about patience, but for me, any reader that reads only patience into this card is really not understanding what temperance is about. Patience exists in temperance because temperance is about taking all of the feelings you're having and experiencing a balancing out of those feelings, pouring a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, so that you feel at peace. And that's why you don't feel impatient with the Temperance card, because your anger, your sadness is in balance with your joy and your happiness and your contentment, and forgiveness and all of those things. It's in perfect balance. It's actually the fulfillment of the Lover's card. In this case, we have Sam, who loves books and loves reading, and he's learning from these books. We're assuming he looks like he's at Castle Black. Oh no, actually he is in Old Town, because I can see the chains on the bookcases. So this is when he's learning to become a maester, and he's searching through these books to try to find something that will save the world, actually. So he's actually seeking ways to save something. And I definitely think that the divine masculine's feeling right now is that he is hoping that he can salvage or save this connection by coming to a peaceful place with it. He may be feeling that patience coming from the divine feminine, and it's teaching him something. He's learning from that. He definitely feels this reverence for her, the way that Sam feels reverence for the books. And I do think he feels that he's learning these higher level lessons from the divine feminine. I do like the sense that he is being more patient with himself. That feels like a good energy to me. Divine feminine, how are you feeling about the divine masculine? So she's thinking about a masculine energy that embodies the King of Coins. But when she actually feels into this masculine energy, what she perceives instead is the Prince of Coins. The page energy. This is Perseus in this card. The energy of being immature, of really not having much to offer. But even still, she would consider what this masculine would bring to her. She feels, I haven't seen much from this masculine, but were he to come and offer me something, I would consider it. I would take my time. I would look it over. I wouldn't outright reject it based on the past. I would definitely consider whatever it is that he would bring to me. Because of, look at the trees behind here. Because I do feel, and that's definitely a shout out here to these, the Four of Wands card here. I do feel that this masculine could bring a stable energy here. I definitely already feel like we have roots, like we've grown something, and I do feel that were he to give me something, we could build upon it one step at a time. And I would be willing to take it one step at a time. That's what the feminine is feeling. Masculine energy, what are you actually saying to the feminine? We've got the Seven of Swords here coming out with the King of Pentacles. And it's interesting because we have two male characters, or two masculine characters represented so far. Littlefinger, who's here, and Sam, who's here. So again, I think these are these two sides of the masculine. Littlefinger is a manipulative, conniving, selfish, cruel person. Sam is the polar opposite. He is a brave, strong, loyal, self-reflexive, loving, kind character. He absolutely has the best interests of literally everyone in all of the world in mind when he takes action. Whereas Littlefinger's interests are really only served by himself. And I just think it's interesting that I think this masculine energy is really acknowledging these two polar opposites within him. The part of him that is selfish and the part of him that is selfless. And we saw from the feeling he has about the feminine is the feminine energy brings out the best in him, right? What he's learned from his relationship with the feminine is how to be this kind, gentle, loving energy that Sam is. Now, in terms of what he's saying about this energy to the feminine, it's interesting because we have some union here with the King of Pentacles coming out twice. King of Coins, actually, it even says coins on both cards, which isn't always true. Sometimes it'll say actually pentacles. So they're very much on the same page about who this energy is. This person in their masculine energy thinks I am the one for the feminine energy, and that's what he has said to the feminine in so many words. But he hasn't done this in a way that's very upfront, because the Seven of Swords is about things that are going on behind the scenes. It's about, in this case, Sam is stealing the Valerian sword that should by all rights be his, but his father, who is really cruel to him, is withholding this sword from him and giving it instead to his younger brother because his father perceives him to be weak and cowardly, and not worthy of the sword. But Sam knows actually that he is worthy of it, and so technically he's not really stealing the sword. He's actually returning it to its rightful place. It's just for him to take that sword, and he plans to use the sword. He can't wield it. It's too heavy for him to use. But he plans to give it to someone who can wield it against the army of the dead that he knows is on its way to basically try to end the world. So Sam is it's not clear what he's doing. He's doing it in the dark. He's doing it knowing his father will be disappointed in him, but he has the best interests at heart for his actions. So what this masculine energy would be saying to the feminine is, I know that in the past I've been selfish. I know that I have cared a lot about what other people think, and that I have actually kept our connection secret, or I have not talked openly about our connection, or whatever it is. I've hidden it. But I did that because I had the best interests for our connection at heart. I had your best interest at heart. I had my best interest at heart. I hid behind this facade in order to actually bring you my true self. And I know that might be hard for you to accept because of the number of times I had to hurt you, the number of times I couldn't give you what you needed, and there was no reasoning behind that, and I didn't explain it to you. But if you can find it in your heart to trust me, when I do explain to you why I acted the way I acted, I think you will see that I am not this selfish, manipulative person that you perceive me to be. But that it was you that I was actually protecting by pretending to be something I'm not. Divine Feminine, what are you saying to this Divine Masculine energy? This is the Devil card. It's called the Temptation card here in the Lover's Path Tarot. And we're seeing Paolo and Francesca here on the card. Now, I want to read their story. So let me go look at their story for you. Pardon me. Wow, I'm having a hard time turning pages here. Here we go. Francesca de Polenta of Ravenna was married to Giovanni Malatesta to strengthen their family's political bonds. But there was one problem. Francesca loved Giovanni's brother, the handsome Paolo. Tempted by love, Francesca and Paolo's story could only end in sorrow. These true events inspired the poet Dante, who had a vision of Paolo tenderly embracing Francesca to protect her against the forces swirling about them in Hades. Dante retold their sad story in his Inferno, the first book of the Divine Comedy. Tempted by forces one cannot control, obsession in the form of envy, sensual desires, the need to be controlling. It also indicates, when it's reversed, freedom from temptation, experiencing the envy of others, transforming a weakness into a strength. So, Divine Feminine, with the Devil card, what she's saying to the masculine, to a certain extent, is I think I've been obsessed with you. I have been fixated upon you. I have been tempted by you. And I have been under your control. That temptation or that obsession has controlled me. And I want to be free. I want to be free from these bonds. I don't want to be in bondage forever. I want to be free. I'm hearing the George Michael song. Or I mean, not George Michael. Not George Michael. Why did I say George Michael? Freddie Mercury. I want to be free. Right? Okay. So, Divine Feminine, I'm also feeling that there is a sense here that she's saying to the masculine, you can't just be obsessed with me, fixated upon me, focused on me, tempted by me. There has to be more to this connection than just that desire for one another. There has to be an actual fulfillment of our connection in some way. And to a certain extent, she could be saying to the masculine, you're the devil. Like, the way that you have enslaved me or seek to enslave me and control me is something I'm very afraid of. Because while you might be saying that this, persona of Littlefinger that you have embodied is a facade, it's all I know of you. So what's the divine masculine actually doing? I don't have reversals in this deck, so important when something is reversed. We have the Ace of Cups in reverse. Now, this could mean that he's actively withholding the cup. And I do perceive that because of the fear of rejection there. But it can also mean that he's pouring out everything that was in his cup. He is wanting to express everything. He's wanting to pour out everything that he took from the feminine without giving. He's wanting to pour out and pour into her cup now when he has not done in the past. That's what he's doing. But really, because we see the 10 of Cups and the 4 of Cups together in the beginning, I have a sense that he's holding back. He's not giving her this cup. Now, if we come back to what he was saying to the feminine, he's explaining in what he's saying why he's withholding the cup. I'm not giving you the cup because I'm protecting you from something. And I can't really be honest with you about it at this time because I have to protect you in some way. Do with that what you will. Divine feminine. It's so interesting to me that you can have long nails and not be able to pick up the cards. Doesn't it seem like it'd be easier to pick up cards? Divine feminine, what are you actually doing? We have the 8 of Coins here. I'm just working. I'm working actually on my mindset here because we've got the masculine energy represented. So I'm actually working on my thoughts. I'm working on my mindset, how I think about the world. And just in a general sense, I'm working on my craft. Whatever it is that I enjoy doing, I am really trying to focus on that. Now, I am seeing here this heart that is on all of the pentacles or the coins in this deck. So I definitely feel like, I'm working on things that have to do with opening my heart in particular to you. But I'm definitely very much just focusing on working on the material or bringing my emotions and my creativity into a physical expression of some kind. Divine masculine, what you need to do to create more harmony between what you're thinking, feeling, saying, and doing. Tyrion, my favorite here. I wear Tyrion's ring, actually. The Fool. So the Fool is a card about having a fresh start, just, taking a risk, taking a leap, even though you don't know what might happen when you do that. I see the dragon behind Tyrion. I wonder if this is when he's... Let me see. This might be when he goes down to see the dragons. But I actually want to see what scene it is. Uh-oh. Sorry. Oh, Bowie's going. What's happening? What's happening? You heard Spike? It's okay. It's okay. He must have run after another dog. It's okay. It's okay. Bowie, it's okay. It's all right. She's getting agitated. It's all right. Come here. Come here. You're okay. She could hear Spike going after another dog or something. I don't know why my parents don't finish the fence that they keep saying they're going to build. Ugh, it's so frustrating. I just don't. Bowie stays on a leash for me, but my old dog Spike, they've always let go outside without a leash. So not smart, but what are you going to do? Boomers, they know everything. Oh, I got to turn the computer on here. Or plug it in. Okay, so we have the Fool, and the scene of this card is... Yes, so this is when he visits Viserion and Rhaegal, and he saves the city from Stannis Baratheon's army and travels to the Wall. Okay. I drink and I know things. I'm just going to read to you what it says. It says, the Fool is represented by Tyrion Lannister, who risks his life to follow a dream. Enchanted by dragon stories as a child, he courts death to visit Viserion and Rhaegal, saves his city from Stannis Baratheon's army, and travels to the Wall. This Fool is no fool in the literal sense, as Tyrion says, I drink and I know things, and Tyrion can say what others dare not. The Tarot Fool, as number 0, stands outside the sequence of major arcana cards. Tyrion is the outsider, despised by most of his house. Witty, brave, and brilliant, he is destined, like the Fool, to be both apart from and a part of everything his dark world has to offer. The upright meaning of this card is an adventure, opportunity, new phase, or perspective beckons. There is an air of spontaneity and optimism as you follow your dream in the spirit of freedom. Take a breath before you begin and calculate the risks before you take that leap of faith. Independence, a student, a young person leaving home. Okay. This gives, if you have a dream, sorry about the interruptions. Let me just answer my student who wants to push it back. Sounds perfect. All right, my student wants to go a little bit later today. That's fine. So, what this card is representing for me, for the masculine, what he actually needs to do to create more harmony is, instead of just dreaming, he needs to actually go after his dreams. There's really nothing else to do. My person posted once about, like, not too long ago, some other post about dreams and dreaming, and I responded like, you can dream, but I'm awake and I'm gonna live. I'm living in the real world, okay? I have a dream of how you are. That dream is not actually how you are, and so I'm embracing that. And until you show me how you are in alignment with the dreams I had, I'm not going to be living in the fantasy world with you anymore, because the real world is the world that I actually wanted to come and live in. Now I want to be able to have mastery over the world that I experience, so I know I need to shift my mindset, and that's what feminine energy has been doing. All right, what does feminine energy need to do to create more harmony between what she's thinking, feeling, saying, and doing? Wow, we have tradition, Romeo and Juliet here coming out, and I believe this would stand for the Hierophant. It's number 5 in the deck, and the Hierophant is indeed about tradition. We see marriage here, we see commitment, and so this is also a card of knowledge and learning, higher level lessons, and divine feminine. In order to create more harmony, I really think you need to know more, or know yourself more, in terms of how you are actually being committed to something. Now, this is for those of you that listen to this entire reading and just were thinking about your relationship and you really weren't thinking at all about your own feminine energy, what it is that you are fantasizing about without taking action towards, because you're protecting yourself from something. And what you're doing is you're protecting your dream, right? The little finger and the 7 of Swords card there with Sam, you're protecting the dream that you have from being destroyed, because you fear that you will destroy it. You fear that it will not play out the way that you want it to. Now, the thing about that is, if that's what you fear, then that's what happens. I feared that nobody would hear my EP when it came out. What happened? Nobody heard my EP, but what happened that caused that to happen? Well, I didn't take more steps to ensure that it would be heard. And this gives me an out. Because I didn't take more action, I'm allowed now to sit back and say, well, the reason that people didn't hear it is because I didn't take action. Because if I had taken actions, like if I had reached out to playlists and nobody wanted to put it on playlists, or if I had reached out and tried and wrote like a press release and tried to get that press release printed somewhere and nobody did it, then I can't say that my actual creation wasn't good enough, or, just pretty much that wasn't good enough to attract attention. I can't say that. Because I didn't give it enough of what it was due. When that's going on, I'm not necessarily aware of that. When I reflect back upon it, now I have that insight. And yet, even with that insight, it's still difficult for me to take steps to do what I need to do. Because basically, if somebody came to me and said, hey, you know the dream you've had for your whole life to be a world-renowned musician? Well, you can't have that because your music isn't really good enough, and you yourself really aren't able to perform at that level. You don't look good enough. You're not young enough. You're like, whatever it is that I perceive is keeping me from being who I really want to be, whatever that is, I don't ever have to face that. I don't ever have to have my fears about it fully realized. But I sacrifice the experience of having more people enjoy my music because I fear that they wouldn't if I tried harder. Does that make sense? So really doing what I just did and reflecting upon why you are not taking actions in your life to bring about and fulfill your dreams, that is what's going to create more harmony for you. Because right now you're very much focused on like, well, this person that I want to be with isn't doing what I want them to do, and so that's why I'm unhappy. But your happiness isn't going to come just from being in a connection. Your happiness is going to be multi-layered, multifaceted. There's going to be many things that bring about fulfillment for you. And if the relationship is the thing that's not working out, you can blame your lack of fulfillment on just the fact that the relationship or the connection isn't working out. And a lot of people do that. What is the actual happiness potential between these two? For the masculine, we have what I love to see, the 10 of coins. Now, this is showing me that it is absolutely possible to bring about a completion of one's dreams and desires if you were to take that leap, right? There's the 10 of cups becoming the 10 of coins in the physical. Now we see this feast. I think this is probably a wedding feast. I want to look. I want to see because it's probably significant what this actually is. Let's see. The 10 of coins. In the garden of King's Landing, the wedding table adorned with Tyrell rose coins awaits King Joffrey and Marjorie. Okay, so this is a wedding feast here. And I think that's significant because the happiness potential resides in the masculine's ability to commit to making that bliss fulfillment, the imagination, the thing that we're imagining is going to make us happy, by actually making it a reality. That's where the 10 of coins is. For the feminine energy, we're seeing the 7 of staves, the 7 of wands, which is a card about fighting off an illusion, fighting off something that's not real, and understanding that the illusion of having to fight is in and of itself blocking you from achieving your desire. So divine feminine, in order for you to feel happiness in this connection, you have to embrace the ways in which you are fighting off your own success. This would be holding on to ideas about a person or a connection that are in direct contrast with what you actually desire to have happen in the 3D. So if you're like, oh, I really want this connection to work out with this specific person that I have in mind, but I know that person is actually, bad news for me, right? Because that was what she's saying to the masculine. She's saying, you're just an illusion. You're not really who you say you are. I can't trust you. You're just focused on me physically, or there's just temptation here that you don't actually mean to follow through on. You are then pushing away the potential for the connection to work out. So you're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy, just like the masculine was doing with the rejection card. You're involved in that. That's like you're perpetuating that. You have ideas about this person or this connection or yourself that are in direct contrast to what you desire to be true. And as I said yesterday, narrow knowledge says you don't have ideas have you. So in this case, These ideas have you under their thrall, and they're distracting you and keeping you from basically just enjoying what you already have in your hands, which is the desire that you have for the thing that you want. It's already there. And you should probably go watch the reading from yesterday about being stuck. If you're having trouble actually achieving things or feeling like you're moving out of the patterns or cycles you've been in, because there's an element there of really not acknowledging that you already have it, that it's already done, and that's something that you need to shift or change. If you're able to do that, I see the potential for happiness. It rests on being able to do that work. It's a maybe and a yes with some minor adjustments. It can be a yes if you make those minor adjustments, basically, is what I'm seeing there. So what would the masculine and feminine energy actually say to each other, and what advice do we have for each of them specifically? The divine masculine would say to the feminine, trust in the magic. Let's see how this plays out here. Number 66. All right, so what masculine energy would say is, I have come to realize that nothing in the universe is random, for the intricate web of co-creation weaves together all events and has done so since the beginning of time. I am appearing now to remind us to pay attention to these synchronicities so that we might recognize patterns. Even the winds dance in a pattern, participating in the magic of Spirit's plan for all. We must align with the highest good and intentions, and we will come to see what is guiding us. An ally to you and a messenger from Spirit. That was kind of clunky because of the way that it's phrased. So it says, align with the highest good and intentions, and you will come to see that I am guiding you, an ally to you, and a messenger from Spirit. We must align with the light, and we will start to recognize that all is working together harmoniously in ways the eye can't always see, and the mind can't always comprehend. I do believe that the universe is conspiring on our behalf right now, drawing us to the light and bringing us the magic and miracles that are our birthright. Now is the time to trust in the magic of the world that is everywhere and in all things. We must pay attention to how things come together as if by magic, and we will see the hand of Great Spirit arranging things in our favor. All right. I love that. Believe in your own magic, divine masculine. The piece of advice that is given to the masculine energy or the energy of the mind for you is, you don't have to create your worth with Spirit. That was done in Spirit's mind when Spirit created you. So you already are worthy, in other words. It was already done. There's another message of, it's already done. You are already worthy from the moment you were conceived by the greater consciousness. Literally conceived. Divine feminine, what is your message to the masculine? Koala spirit. Spirit has a plan. You're both kind of on the same page. We had trust in the magic, and now we have, I do. Spirit has a plan. You don't have to tell me. In nature, I move slowly through the branches. In nature, the koala moves slowly through the branches of the eucalyptus trees, leisurely chewing the leaves, reminding us that life is not a race or a competition. Chasing around after every distraction can keep us from recognizing that we have all we need, and that Spirit will always be there with gifts to sustain us. We are being asked to trust that by moving slowly with faith in the abundance that is everywhere, surrendering to a power greater than ourselves, we will be able to experience the manifestation we desire. As we take our time enjoying the riches available to us right now, sitting peacefully, we begin to radiate the joy and abundance we seek. Spirit is here to help us discover happiness, pleasure, and contentment, all gifts that are ours now and in the future. We must have faith and trust in Spirit's plan for us, and know that we are loved and cherished. Beautiful messages to each other today. The advice for the feminine energy, or the energy of the heart, or emotions, or creativity, says there will always be only two choices: your true home with spirit and the thought of separation or individuality. So it's your choice. You can either think of yourself as already in union, or you can think of yourself as separate. It is up to you, Divine Feminine. Our piece of advice today is offerings and the card of wealth, coming from my shamanic oracle here. Shamanic medicine guidebook. Oh, pardon me. Guess my coffee's not working. I know the alphabet. There we go. It is time to give back. Make a list of everything you are grateful for, and you will soon notice how rich you really are. To receive, one must give. Everything is interconnected, so when you give, abundance will flow back to you in some form. Spirit provides for our needs, so make offerings and thanksgiving for all you have and all you are a regular practice. This can be done daily, anywhere, and at any time to great effect. Offerings can be made in many forms, such as fruit, nuts, and candles. Whatever you give is greater when infused with gratitude. Give something that is of importance or value to you, for then you really are giving. You can also make an offering through prayer, a song, or by saying a simple thank you. Be humble and thankful. Hold the offering to your heart and allow it to become a blessing. This practice will enhance your connection with spirit and invite abundance to come your way. Offerings have been made to the gods throughout humanity's history. The practice of burying offerings such as water, cakes, bread, and pottery with the deceased dates back from 100,000 years. In ancient Egypt, Asia, Europe, and Africa, specially designated priests and priestesses performed ritual offerings of food, drink, clothing, perfumes, and flowers. Spirit houses still abound throughout Southeast Asia. Other divinatory meanings of this card include financial difficulties are soon resolved, an unexpected windfall comes your way, focus on what you do want rather than what you don't, you are worthy, practice the art of receiving, gratitude ensures a bountiful crop. There was a lot of wealth in here with the 10 of cups and the 10 of coins coming up. So I do think these are very important messages for the two of you. The offering speaks and it says, give thanks and offer up with love. Ensure abundance from above. With humble heart you must believe. Hold your hands out to receive. Beautiful, beautiful card. Matches my nails so very well. You know how hard it is going to be for me to decide what colors to do my nails? I've literally been struggling with that for the last 2 days. Oh, looky. Look at our final card from the Thoth deck. Number 5, it happens to be the 5 of Cups, which we saw the Divine Masculine's mind was on, which is all about regret. So let's get the advice. Oh, and for those of you that didn't see it, I did do a reading of last week's 2 Thoth tarot cards. They have questions in them, and I answered both of the questions for members. If you want to subscribe, go to passes.com/pearlsprayers. There is a link in the description box below, and become a subscriber. And thank you so much to those of you who already are subscribed. You will see there is extended content there for those of you who have subscribed. There's also free content for people that are just following me. You do not have to be subscribed to enjoy some of the extended content over there. Okay. The 5 of Cups stands for an emotional crisis. It might be that unconscious fears come true. It could tell that feelings are disrupted or wasting away. The soul is empty and unfulfilled. In the sequence of the cups, the 5 is the logical consequence of the 4. The gray that was lurking behind the luxury's glamour is now exposed. The truth is now out. The 5 of Cups can suggest you are stuck in the past and can't let go. Old wounds and bitter memories fill your mind as you think about what happened. You may blame yourself or believe you are a victim of life's circumstances. These negative emotions are holding you back from your fullest potential. Release them so you can move on and create positive change. The 5 of Cups also implies the loss of illusion, the realization of a deception. It hurts, but is necessary when we don't want to spend the rest of our lives with our heads in the sand. To put it plain, we have to learn how to crawl before we can learn to walk. It is important to realize that whilst our disappointments often come from outside sources, the reason that we experience them is because of internal beliefs and expectations. We are disappointed when the company refuses to offer us that job we wanted and hoped for so much. We are disappointed when friends, lovers, family let us down and fail to treat us in a fashion we had believed they should. We are disappointed when something does not work out the way we had hoped. Yet we cannot go through life without expectations, and we cannot protect ourselves by holding negative expectations. Hope is a fighter. No matter how much we try to squash it down, it pops back up again. So perhaps we simply have to be brave enough to hope, honest enough to assess our expectations realistically, and courageous enough to accept that sometimes, no matter how hard we try, we are going to be hurt by disappointment. Maybe we have to make the choice to risk ourselves and accept that sometimes we will get let down. On a day that is ruled by the Five of Cups, don't go looking for disappointment, but rather spend some time assessing your expectations. Look for imbalance or lack of realism in your expectations of people and situations. If you find any, then be true to yourself and adjust those expectations till they serve you better. Look for negative expectations. Nothing good ever happens to me. I'm always going to be lonely, miserable, unhappy. I'm too weak, inadequate, uninformed to achieve what I need. And tackle these with gusto, for they create darkness in your life and serve no earthly purpose. Drive them out of your head with determined use of the affirmation and agree to go after them every single time they surface. The drive of this card is disillusion, pain, loss, and sadness. The light is sobering realization, separation as a consequence. The shadow is bitterness, emptiness, treachery, deceit, and detraction. Reversed, which this was when I pulled it out, it says the Five of Cups encourages you to forgive yourself and move on. Know that you did the best you could. The keywords are Mars in Scorpio, unfulfilled hopes, lost sense of balance, problematic relationships, old wounds. The advice is either some of your overambitious hopes have collapsed or your fear of disappointment lies deep within you. It is time to learn the lesson. The questions you should ask yourself are, in what areas of your life do you fear disappointment? What have you learned from the disappointments that you have experienced so far? And how can you prevent disappointment? And the suggestion is to draw one card for each of the above questions. So after the general week ahead reading, when I pull the Thoth card, I will do the same thing I did last week, which is that on Monday I did the subscribers only reading that answered the questions that were brought up by the two cards for the week ahead. The revelation of this card is, by seeing where I trick myself, where I deny my inner voice, I begin to know my own inner reality. The affirmation is, I expect happiness to flow through my life, driving out negative thoughts and emotions. I do hope that this reading has helped you today. I know that it's helped me. I will see you on Sunday for the general week ahead energy, and I hope that you have a lovely weekend. Take care.